Happy New Year's Eve. How are you tonight? Oh my gosh, it is New Year's Eve and you're here. I have pre-recorded this because right now I am most likely rocking a 8-month-old or reading to her, and the 6-year-old and the 3-year-old, of course. Most likely trying to get them settled into bed. Maybe they're there, but the little one is notorious for being a late night owl like her grandma, me. So you know that I will have books for her, for them all to read. And so that's what I am doing. And that's why this is pre-recorded premiere for you. So I appreciate you being here for the premiere. And I apologize for not being here with you maybe I am, who knows, maybe I can sneak in if they'll give me a moment, or maybe they're in bed, who knows. That would be doubtful since this is going off at 7 p.m. Pacific time, and knowing my grandkids, they're just getting rolling. But it's a wonderful night. I have opportunity to let my daughter and son-in-law have a night off for the evening for New Year's to go to a murder mystery party and an overnight thing for them. So that, they've done a lot. He ran a 240-mile ultra endurance race in Moab, and she gave birth so to their third child. So yeah, at home birth. Yeah, they need the night. So I'm more than happy to be doing my grandma thing, which I love, but I also didn't want to miss out on celebrating New Year's Eve with all of you. So I thought about what story was fitting with the end of a year and the beginning of a new year, and this book came to mind. It's a book called Winter's Child. We've all heard the story about Father Time and the new one coming along. Well, there's also the stories about the seasons and how they change and who transitions and who comes along. In this particular story, it is a story about the young Winter and something special that he finds and the relationship that happens. And North Wind tries to warn him, but he doesn't listen. So for tonight, everybody, if you can, see that? Yeah. Grab your cup of cheer, have a toast to all the wonderful stories out there, to all the wonderful stories you're going to hear on New Year's Eve, to the wonderful art that you create, to the great year that you've had, and look at the positives, and we'll see what's going on. So this book is called Winter's Child, and it is by Mary Kay Whittington. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Mary in just here. Oh, oops, there's my drink in the way of the book. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Mary Kay Whittington is a Northwest author. She actually, I don't know if she still does, she used to live in Kirkland, Washington, which was where I lived. And I had met her there. She's a pretty quiet person, if I remember, but has written several really, really wonderful books. Let me get my drink out of your way. And I think I'll zoom in on the book a little bit. Yeah. So it is illustrated by Sue Ellen Brown, but let me tell you a little about Mary and what she says. One night, when Mary Kay Whittington was 7 years old, Winter made a surprise visit to her home in Southern California. She remembers standing in the doorway with her family, watching snowflakes drift down through the branches of a front yard tree. Now she lives in Kirkland, Washington, where Winter and his snowflakes visit at least once a year, giving her inspiration for stories. We've had a lot more than once a year. Last night it snowed another 3 inches, I think. Now the illustrator is Sue Ellen Brown, is a native Texan, and she grew up in Houston, earned a BFA in advertising design, and then she's worked as an award-winning illustrator. Her technique is mixed media, integrating airbrushed acrylics with pencil, sponge, and a paintbrush. She's loved and collected picture books since she was a child. Sounds like somebody I know. Illustrating is one of the fulfillment of a childhood ambitions. I don't know if illustrating is one of my ambitions, but maybe writing them. And you guys all know that I still owe you my book. New Year resolution. We'll do a night where I share my book. Maybe I'll have all you guys illustrate it for me. She lives and works in Dallas. And that's that. So this is the book called Winter's Child. I'm going to take the cover off, as always, because I tend to make noise with the dust cover. Winter's Child. How's that doing? Not bad. Getting better at how it shows the book. Oops, but I'm missing me. Here, I knew there's something wrong. There we go. Oh, wow. Okay. There we go. My camera was way off on that one for me. I was sitting in the wrong spot. Now you can see me and you can see the book. Winter's Child. I really love this has some really delicate illustrations, and there's, if you see, let me just pan in a little bit more. You can see there is North Wind, and this is Winter and his wolf, and we're going to see the story here. There we go. Winter's Child, Mary Kay Whittington, illustrated by Sue Ellen Brown. For the Shepherd family, may you always walk with wolves. How did she know? I think I got this book from her in 1992, far before my obsession with bears and wolves came into being. Wow. I love this. Look at that illustration. Look at the eyes on that wolf. Yeah. She had a Wednesday morning children's writers group. There's a lot of really cool writing authors groups out here in the Northwest, and so we have a lot of wonderful children's authors. Look at that. I just love the illustrations. On a cold, white morning, Winter whistles up his wolves. Yipping with eagerness, they bound through the snow to frisk about his feet, to lick his hands. His laughter echoes among the trees as he romps with the wolves, then harnesses them to his sled of glittering ice. Come, O North Wind, my only friend, he shouts, and rides into the forest. The frosty air rings with the music of silver bells on the traces, with the yelping of the running wolves. See, there's North Wind. At the top of the hill, Winter reins in his team, for he sees a small bundle, half covered with snow, lying between the roots of a great hollow oak. North Wind whips snow into clouds about Winter's boots. Let us go, she moans. But Winter strides to the bundle and bends to brush away the snow. A child, he says in wonder. Do not wake her, North Wind howls, for she is Spring, who will one day drive you away. No, Winter says. She is but a babe, and all alone. And he gathers her up, holds her close. I too am lonely. Leaping back upon the sled, he turns the wolves homeward to his house of white stone. When spring awakens, shivering, he wraps her in soft woolen robes. When she cries with hunger, he gives her apple mush and maple sap to drink. He sings lullabies so he will not have to listen to north wind rattling the windows and sighing at the door. Look at the little toys. Funny. Spring grows. Never has winter been so happy. Soon she follows him outside when he tends his garden of crystalline ice flowers. She calls him father and laughs when he showers her with snow, the flakes falling from his fingers. Winter and spring go on long sled rides. He teaches her to make snowballs and watches her slide on river ice. And spring grows taller and more beautiful. One morning, North Wind whistles in Winter's ears. Wake up! She has gone! I do not believe you, Winter answers. But the door stands open and a trail of footprints leads into the forest. Spring, he cries, stumbling from his bed. His voice cracks, his heart pounds harder with every step. He finds her by a frozen pool at a river's edge. Before he can scold, she turns, smiling. See, Father? See what I can do? And she brushes her hand along the ice, and it melts with her touch. In the still water, he sees his reflection, the wrinkled face of an old man. Spring wraps her arms around a tree and laughs as snow on its branches melts and falls in a shower of drops. Winter gazes at her, bewildered. She is almost a young woman. When did he grow so old? Come, Father, Spring skips ahead of him. In her wake, snow melts and grass grows. I told you, but you would not listen. Farewell! North Wind stirs the branches above and blows away. The warm air warms and new flowers fill it with fragrance. Winter walks ever slower until he reaches his garden, where Spring stands weeping. Our ice flowers are dying, she mourns. He touches her shoulder with a hand that trembles. Perhaps they shall live again one day, my child. And turning, he hobbles into the house. Spring tucks him into bed and waits until he falls asleep. Then she kisses his forehead and smiles. Sleep well, Father, she whispers, and she shuts the door softly and runs out to greet the warm green morning. And that is the story of Winter's Child. I love how the colors transition from the, all around her is the warmer colors, but all around him are the cooler tones. Even the red underneath there has a cool tone to it. And the little ice drawings of the trees and the north wind is just gorgeous. And these ice flowers. The snowman. Oh, look. Let's look closer at this. So you have there, I think you can see it. You have the old snowman and the young snowman, with her with the pink, the little pink, and him with the beard, just like here and here. I love it. And the gentleness. I mean, Northwind, yes, she's jealous and she's not so very nice, but she still is drawn so delicately. I love this and all the details around this. It's just another very beautiful book. This one by Mary Kay Whittington. Like I said, it came out in 1992. A lot of the books I'll share are ones that have been around for a little bit, but they're so worth the time to going in. I like the insets on it, and the color palette again. The transition. This is pretty, especially pretty, the details. The wolves, I love all the wolves. That's lovely. So that's the story for tonight. I hope that it inspires you. It brings you some peace and comfort about the transitioning from one year to the next. It's inevitable, and it's all good. It's all good. This is wonderful. Things grow. The seasons change, and we're on to a new year. Yeah, we sure are. So let me see. Yeah, there we are. We're on to a new season. The frost and the snow around the outside of this one is a photograph I took in Eastern Washington on the side of a building where the whole all the vines had just frosted over. It was very fun to do. Anyway, that's the end of tonight's story. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thank you for being here, even for a recorded live story time rather than live. But I know you know me. I have to go hang with the grandkids once in a while and reading to them. It'll be well worth it. I'll be all inspired all again. So for New Year's Eve, you get Winter's Child. There's another one coming tomorrow on New Year's Day. And then on the 2nd will be another recorded. So just 3 days of recordings, and then I'll be back live. But until then, keep looking for the beauty hidden in plain sight. It's all around you. But you know what I'm going to say. The first place to go look is in your mirror, and you'll find it looking right back at you. And until then, until I see you again, take care, blessings, and cheers and Happy New Year. Woohoo!